start. Cool.
You got your 5-minute delay up, right?
Yep, that's why I wanted to sync it up.
All right, cool. 14 minutes on the clock remaining here. They'll trickle in 5 minutes, and otherwise it is a 3-rounder, with the third round being the tiebreaker if it is needed. But otherwise, how are you doing, Barbarian?
I'm doing great. It's a beautiful Saturday afternoon, ready for a nice little Saturday evening scuffle.
Is that what they're calling it? Who the heck knows?
It's Super Saturday, but that doesn't fit with the framework, so I think Saturday Night Scuffle fits a lot better.
That's actually pretty fair, yeah. Saturday Night Scuffle. I do appreciate that. And it's between the 29th ID, which is the, I would call them the house company that, no, not house community, that would be better, that is actually part of FNF, because their communities are, intertwined within TSB. So FNF just does the framework for the PvP, but the actual operating unit that operates within the TeamSpeak is the 29th ID. Names that we often see from that group are T5 Bay, for example, who I often regard as the second best player in FNF. But we also have people like Nielsen, Montgomery, Herb, Carlson, Shooplis, all of those people that we often regard as veteran players within rounds of FNF. So this should be pretty interesting because they're fighting. Barb, who are they fighting?
They are fighting a coalition of FNF communities. Notably, we have Scandi, Tau, 4IB,
Arma Finland.
Arma Finland, yeah, AFI is in there too. I think 29th IB also has a second MRB as a bit of a to bolster their numbers slightly, but it is an even fight for the most part. I think Blue Far has a slight advantage. Any communities I'm missing? Let me see. I'll go through
I wouldn't stretch that out. I don't think either side really has an advantage right now, because yes, we do have the... Hold up, there's a message. There should be plenty of time for people to get here. Okay, so they're going to keep it going just without the brief. We'll cover that. We do have Scandi Recon on Blue 4. I do see some names like Flux, Novix over here, Vargrans, Severe, really good commander there. And then we've got some of the FNF staff on Blue 4 as well, such as Indigo Fox. But 29th ID, I already mentioned some of their heavy hitters. They definitely know what's up. So I think it's going to be pretty even. Yes, I am going to want to see some sort of outflank by Scandi Recon, but if there's anyone that would know how to counter it by now, it would be the 29th ID. So.
And just over the full list, we do have UPSE, Arma Finland, Chad, Zeus Spartans, Tau, SOG, and Scandi Recon for this FNF coalition.
It is a good list. But otherwise, with the 3 rounds, first, Op4 is going to be defending, Op4 being the 29th ID. Then I believe next round it is going to be the Coalition defending here. The operations are set to heavily favor the defenders, and we can kind of tell based off of the AO here, but we'll get there when we get there. Real quick, I just want to point out, Op4 has actually 4 different explosive specialists planting charges on the forested route from the direct Blue 4 line in. Do you see that?
So they're
actually planning this one out. That's awesome.
Yep. France, Osturin, Bedekovic, and Turnby. Yeah, they're sending those charges and going to be working together for as far as that. Finn did say kind of, I wouldn't quite call it a prediction, but he was kind of taunting, saying wherever there's forest, that's Scandi territory. So they're taking that to heart and planting charges in the forest nearest to their safe start area.
I think it's a great idea to take explosive charges to that level, but I'm going to be perfectly honest, I think it's a bit of a misplay for this AO.
Yes,
there's way too much open ground between that forested area and over here for that to be effective, because what's stopping Op4 from just setting up on the edge of this territory with a fortification line of either trenches or anything from an E-tool. If they really wanted to be effective with it, I think the forested area to the west would be a lot better, because there's a lot of room for Blue 4 to charge around, get to the forested area on the back, dismount here, and send forces in. But I will admit the AO is also quite tight. Yeah, southwest, my bad.
I see.
Because you got those forested routes with the river going in, you got another forested route. Again, it's really close. Blue 4, based off this AO, it's unlikely to see that route going in, but the other route would be the river coming from the southeast. That is another area that infantry could easily come in through the riverbeds here, and there is a good amount of cover and concealment with the river banks here to try to get forces in. But I can definitely say why, see why they said that the defenders have the advantage for this AO, is because there's just a lot of open ground all around this town, where if Op4 is smart enough here, they can definitely set up firing lines to stop any Blue 4 forces from coming in. So I'll be really curious to see how Blue 4 tries to pull this off.
Yeah, it's going to be, I think, a bit of a battle of the minds. I'd almost want to see Blue 4 take a more direct route, maybe through Viparau, kind of the southeast, that forested area. Maybe come up along the river to some degree, because I feel like Red 4, apart from the trap that we just saw in place at that northeast forest near T5 Rod's position and Red 4 X-ray, I think that, yeah, just kind of counterplaying the counterplay by going a lot more direct could almost break open Red 4's entire plan. We do have on the southwest side a couple teams heading down towards Sutorf, kind of following the river, interestingly enough. I wonder if they're going to go for that kind of active defense, trying to spot out the Blue 4's movements before they get close to the AO.
So, by the way, we do have a demo specialist, Firefighter, another respected name in my opinion. He definitely knows how to play these games. Setting up some defensive lines on the MSR to the south. Actually, that would technically be an SSR, because there is an MSR that goes north and northwest in this AO itself. But another thing to point out, this is technically a Blue 4 mirror match. We have Op 4 being Marines in Marpat Woodland camo, and then Blue 4 is attacking as British force, based off their flags on the sides of their chest rigs. But it is going to be a 5-5-6 mirror match with 7-6-2 for the machine gunner groups within Charlie and Foxtrot, and then a Maz being used for Charlie 2 on each side. Attackers get the advantage of having a second M2 Humvee, but otherwise everything else is nearly identical in this regard. Even the numbers. It is a flat 54 V54, so definitely the defenders get a, again, just part of the advantage, because normally with FNF, you see the attackers get like a 15, 10, 20% numbers advantage depending on the round. So defenders have a nice AO here. They've got room to set up explosive traps. They have fortification tools to set up defensive lines. And they're very, very well coordinated. And the final thing, which is really cool about this round, is I'm seeing everyone taking an ACOG scope. We do have magnified optics in play, so that's going to make the marksman a little less effective. That's part of X-Ray. Speaking of which, it is the Mark 11. We got T5 Rod with the marksman rifle for the 29th ID in Op4, and then Blue 4, the marksman rifle, is being taken by SL Dreams. So, two players who I have seen take the marksman role in the past in FNF, both of which I know are very good with it. They're very comfortable with that weapon, but the marksman is going to be very essential in this operation to try to get off some extra pick-off kills. However, I'm only seeing like a DMS scope, so they only have a slightly larger or better magnification than the actual rifleman here. So it's really going to be up to the riflemen to get the kills here. I'm also looking, we do have ACOGs being put on the machine guns as well. Go ahead. I'm trying to look for a 240 Bravo.
Sure. I kind of refute the point you made earlier about the marksman not being as effective. You got to remember that he's also using 7.62 NATO, which will punch a lot harder than the 5.56 of all these riflemen. Now, that does also mean with everyone having these magnified optics that they can be spotted out easier. Now, you could argue they could still be spotted out by people using binoculars or rangefinders, etc. But this spreads out the capabilities of a marksman team to pretty much every single infantryman that is on the field. And we do have a 240 on the Blue Force side, I'm seeing, as well as Iander with that M3 Carl Gustav.
Sorry, I've just updated my title. Apparently Twitch didn't actually update the fucking information, so I just had to hit space 5 times and update anyway.
I don't know why, but that never happens to me. I have
do you stream through OBS or OBS Streamlabs?
Streamlabs. OBS Streamlabs.
Yeah, that might be it. I probably need to find an update on OBS just to make sure it's not screwing with anything. So I'll people refresh their page once they get to this part 5 minutes later, it'll show that it is fixed. But regardless, plans I'd like to see OPFOR do. Since this is an even operation, I would love to see OPFOR try to utilize the M2 Humvee they have early to go search and destroy, to try to intercept Blue 4 as they come in, because there's only so many routes they can take. I think committing it along either MSR, but if they were to start it along the defensive MSR to the northeast and just follow it through the town of Bruchwendel and just follow it into Blue 4 spawn, I think they could... Yeah?
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Look at east of Red Force spawn right now. Sergeant Dodd and Private First Class Kernshaw. Gigabrain move here.
What do we got?
The 2 trucks to flatten down the wheat fields and get rid of all this visual cover.
That's actually very smart.
That is brilliant. You can see the trails in the other wheat field to the northwest, but like, that is amazing to see. That is some out of the box thinking, to say the least. Definitely.
Now, I'm going to be curious to see, yep, we have another trot from Stull. He's also knocking down all of these little trees. So there's absolutely no concealment. That, again, stuff that you don't think about that you would only see in a PvP-esque scenario. So I'll be curious to see if they move those Vics to other spots. Like there's another wheat field to the south. They still have plenty of time to get all this done, but we're seeing them just knocking over everything around here, just to flatten it out. That's great.
I just saw something else I'll bring up in a second, but yeah, this is very much, I wouldn't quite call it...
They can't run this over, though.
Communities don't harbor any ill feelings towards each other.
Yep.
That's just not the nature of that.
It's more of,
grudge match.
It's who's the better group of communities in FNF. Is it all the people they invite, or is it the host community? So I can totally get that. By the way, they...
Perspective, I like that.
They did have Trakiak try to run over some of this. I would think this is rice or leeks or potatoes or something, but no, it's definitely not potatoes. It's like rice or leeks, but they're not able to run over that texture, so they do have to be mindful about here.
Made a cross for some reason next to that field that you're talking about here, over by Corporal's position. They made a cross out of sandbags and HESCO barriers, and. Don't know if that's a prayer or if that's some kind of big brain.
X marks the spot. So another thing I quickly want to mention, this is a cache hunt, but the areas for the caches literally encompass the entire town. You've got one in this 2-story building right here, and then one which has a much harder, bigger garrison in here. At least this is where I think there's some sort of team meetup on the 2nd story, but both of these positions just encompass so much that it's there's definitely going to need to be a lot of searching by Blue 4. Again, the 3 major advantages that the defender has, which is why it's so heavily defensive biased, is there's no numbers advantage for the attacking force. The areas for the objectives themselves are massive. And the third... Come up with a third. I had one, I forgot it.
Well, we said what numbers?
Excuse me. No, I remember now. The AO itself is mostly open field all around. It's really hard for attackers to get in. Also, Anderson just showed up.
Yes, they talk about Anderson. He was running late from work, so I think he's going to be able to get in just in time.
Yep, he is head honcho of NA that like organizes everything. So, you know, being a member of the 29th, it is good to see him here. And I don't know why, I just absolutely love seeing that these trucks are running over all of this. And they still have plenty of time to do it, but they're doing it all along their territory here, so. No, they only got 2 minutes left, but most of this is
a few more minutes.
Pretty much done. I don't think we're going to see that M2 Humvee used as a counter-attacking unit. Instead, it's probably going to be used as QRF. But since they have such a number advantage in the fact that it's even teams, risking 2 people to go out and potentially kill 20, or at least smoke a vehicle or a car, I think would be a worthy investment. Because even if they both get killed, but they manage to kill like 4 or 5 dudes that are crammed in some transport vehicle, that gives you the number advantage early on, and you'll be fine. And because these are Humvees with no cover, they're no up armored.
No, yeah, they're just.
They with riflemen that have magnified optics, those things are just death traps anyway. So why not use it early on to try to give yourself that advantage?
Yeah, I guess, with no armor assets like a BTR or anything of that ilk, there isn't a huge disadvantage to, say, if they were to get sniped out and give up that Humvee to the other side, that wouldn't really screw them over as much as it would, say, if they had an armored asset to work with. But best case for that would just be, or I guess more worst case would be just spraying down through buildings, which they already have an M2 to do that with anyway.
Yeah.
Seen a lot of cordons over by Bedekovic's position, sectioning off these alleyways and passages, just kind of trying to control the flow, because they're staging this out. They're thinking ahead.
Yeah.
Of course, they want to keep Blue 4 out of the town at all costs, but they recognize that it is a distinct possibility. So
I don't think they're going to be able to keep Blue 4 out of the town. 54 guys is a lot of people, but for this size of a town, you have to have a very tight perimeter to do that. I mean, yesterday's FNF match, I think it was NA number 1, Altus versus FIA. That was a 124 player, so the defending force was about 50 dudes, because the attacking force had a numbers advantage. But they held 40 to 50 because they had a small group offset doing fuck knows, but they eventually came back. That was like 40 to 50 players holding, I want to say, the size of maybe a fifth of this town, and they were still pretty stretched then. So having that same number, if not slightly larger, to cover an AO like 4 or 5 times the size of that hill, there's going to be weaknesses in the line, and it's going to be luck if the attacking faction is able to get it. I'm going to be perfectly honest. There's no way.
Absolutely. Luck and skill is a nice little combination
just
of the two.
With all the magnified optics and all the eyes going out, there's not really a stealthy way to do this, but round has started. We do have both M2 Humvees reconning the road. I really like that to prevent against that counter rush. Go ahead.
They completely... They're using the... Blue Force using their Humvee as a kind of a recon and point vehicle for their convoy.
Yep.
It's a good 200-300 meters at least. Actually, more like about a click now in front of this convoy. Just scouting things out, making sure the road's clear. Enough of an isolated target to where someone could just shoot them up and they'd lose that asset, but then the rest of the convoy would know not to go there.
Real quick,
we'll see how that
I think we're going to see first point of contact. Op4 brought their Humvee around at a slight T intersection on the southern side, and we have the Blue 4 M2 Humvee being driven by I think that was Navy and Indigo Fox. And
over the crest of this hill, and the Cool Breeze is in a decent ambush position. Yeah, he's got great line of sight down this road.
Firefighter was up here. I thought he might have been putting an explosive trap, or they put all those explosives right there. But, yep, they are in a very good ambush position. Yep.
He's opening fire. And
Humvee's going to go pursue it.
Yep.
However, the transport trucks are still on their way.
Yep. Cool Breeze gets eyes on the target again. Shooting a little bit behind. Needs to lead his shots a bit at that distance. Oh, he does get a kill, though. He's got one of them, either the driver or the gunner.
And now the Blue 4 trucks are diverting south.
Yeah, he got Indigo's gunner. Indigo's falling back.
Yep, that is, Navy is dead. But Op 4 already at a slight advantage by killing off the... basically getting first blood here. We have Blue 4, the other Humvee has excuse me, Jesus. It took X-ray and it diverted north and dismounted in this far tree line here and is trying its best to get some recon in. First half of Blue 4's attack force has deployed south. Second half is also coming down.
Ooh, Vonk's looking right in the direction.
This might be tough.
I think the foliage... Ooh, might have just spotted something there. Something moving in the trees. Other than that, he can't really see much unless he has his grass turned off or something. But he is looking over in that direction. He might have spotted a bit of shimmering between the trees. But yeah, Twicking and all them making their way across this big open field. Kind of surprising they're not being a bit more sneaky, though. I think they have a bit of a sense of security this far out from the town itself.
So I do love how the Op 4 M2 Humvee has pulled around, thinking that Blue 4 might have tried to sneak it around, not realizing Blue 4 just went defensive with it instead. And we have the other half of the attack force. Wuna just hit the highway divider and stopped all momentum of his Vic as forces are pulling around here. I think the northern Humvee was unarmed because I'm seeing the second armed Humvee was with the other 3 trucks here. Excuse me, 2 trucks and a Humvee that came up. So I think that was just a, making sure that those forces at least have some static defense, which is good. It shows that the commander was thinking about just in case Op 4 tries to rush with that Humvee. But either way, just a quick mention, it is Severe commanding the FNF Coalition force for Blue 4 here, and the Op 4 commander is, I believe that would be Second Lieutenant Stray.
Yep.
What do you know about him for FNF? The name doesn't ring a bell for me.
Yeah, the name I recognize it, but I haven't seen that name around a ton, just in terms of being, I guess, a bit more prominent. But it's kind of 29th IB is kind of a Milsimi group. Second lieutenant, obviously denoting some rank, so he knows what he's doing. He probably just doesn't come around FNF as much and got drawn to this for a bit more of a serious fight. So we'll see how well he's able to adapt to the framework of FNF, how things are done, and I guess almost kind of the meta almost. See how well he's able to adapt to all the various bits and pieces that go into an attack and defense. I do love that we're doing 3 rounds, having the best of 3 going, so we can really
we'll see who is able to take it on.
It should leave no doubts. You know what I mean? There shouldn't be any doubts at the end of this.
So, to state this again for the people just joining us, this is a Saturday FNF, except it's a little more competitive. It's the 29th ID guys, which are the host community for FNF, fighting against all of the other factions that come in to play FNF every Friday. Barb, you had that list. Who is playing on the Coalition side?
On the Coalition side, we have the illustrious Scandi Recon, as well as the 4th Infantry Brigade, SOG, PLH, Zeus Spartans, AFI, obviously Severe, Tau, Chad, UPSC, and I think that's about it. We also have Navy, who isn't really affiliated. He's just FNF, but a big coalition, like you said.
For a straight 54v54.
Yes, so there's no advantage because we are just switching sides in and out, so we don't have that usual overflow with the just a large amount of people that we have on a usual Friday night fight.
So by the way, someone on the southern side just discharged his weapon. I think he might have already saw something, but it was nothing, so... Blue Op 4 already knew they were there, though, so he didn't really give anything away. And to the north, I'm hearing some other shots here, but no kills.
Bonk is still looking way off to the northwest. I think he might just keep keeping his head on a swivel, but he doesn't seem to be on the track.
There is magnified optics for everyone, by the way.
Tweaking and all them. They do have a lot of Vector 21, so they have, I think, about 7
Also,
times.
Dead Wingman. Dead Wingman, how are you doing? I don't need a hug. Don't worry.
So definitely better than the 4 times of the ACOG, and should let them get some decent spotting in if they can see anything at least.
Now, are the rounds still 50-minute?
Yes, everything is the normal FNF framework, 15-minute safe start, 50-minute round timer. So it's going to be a little bit longer because we had a bit of an extended safe start for people having some connection issues. But otherwise, it is entirely the same. Caches, 2 of them. You can still mag dump them or blow them up to destroy them. I'm interested to see if we'll see Blue 4 guys, once they get a building spotted, maybe someone who doesn't have a satchel charge spots the cache. Guy with a satchel charge just comes in, throws it inside that same building, destroys the entire building to get the cache.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if we saw a play like that either. But right now, 53 v 54. Navy, who was the gunner of an M2, was killed off in a skirmish between 2 M2 Humvees, an OP4, the OP4 one and one of the 2 Blue 4 ones. But right now, Blue 4 is just trying to figure out how they're going to maneuver here. OP4, knowing that some forces came down this route, have set up a little bit of a blocking force in a town south of the actual objective area. And I'll be curious to see if Blue 4, they do have a pincer already set up with 2 forces, basically from the get-go, actually, because half the force came in 3 trucks, the other half came in 2 transport trucks and a Humvee, and then Severe was in a command Humvee on his own, I guess organizing everything. But we've got Echo, Delta, and Foxtrot, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, both half and half here. X-Ray on the other side trying to do some overwatch. I would think that Blue 4 might try to send forces to this river and guide them up from here, which actually doesn't have that much defense on it. You just have one guy. But I think once Op4 realizes where Blue 4's forces are, you're going to see forces pull away from other defensive lines to try to fortify that spot, and that might give Blue 4 an opportunity to mount up their other pincer and try to push them into town from a different direction. I know Severe is really good at making plays like that, so we'll just have to see how it goes. Go ahead.
PFC Stoller, that one guy you mentioned along the river, has just spotted movement to his far south. Point Man, King, Tom, Armagesus, Novix, that northern kind of echelon in this forest for Blue 4. He has definitely spotted them out with some binoculars. Doesn't have great eyes, but he just knows that someone's there. That's actually Platoon 2 HQ that I think he spotted, or at least someone in that team. So that should give Red 4 some decent information to start shifting their focus a bit more south. I think right now they're waiting on... They have a bit of a western detachment with Scandi, Fungi, and Nuclear Moose heading west. I guess trying to find that Humvee. But otherwise, they're waiting for X-Ray to do something on the northern side, whether that's spotting, some recon, or even drawing contact to the north to give them some breathing room on the south side. That should spoil Blue 4's plans being spotted out from such a far distance so early on.
By the way, Op4 X-Ray, who was in this large forest, we do have Vonk over here. I'm going to see... I think he does have eyes on. Yep, Blue 4 X-Ray moving out. You just saw one of their heads right above the grass.
Yeah,
so
a lot closer to this position.
We might see Op4's X-Ray try to come around and counter Blue 4's X-Ray, but they might run into Twig and Warlords here and get some pick-off kills. But it's really going to be up to the commander of Op4 to see that as just the enemy marksman group coming up and not a larger force, because if he tries to pull too many forces north to potentially counter this movement coming in, he will leave his south a little exposed here. And I will admit, Op4 is a little stretched thin here because they do have a lot of investment to the southwest as a blocking force. But if that pays off, and then we have people like, yep.
We're having a bit of a skirmish here pretty soon with the X-Ray groups. I think, Twig King. So, Vonk spotted a further group of SL Dream and J.
But hasn't seen Twig and Warlords yet.
He just did because they just passed in front of him low, and they weren't able to see him. So now he has on all 4. Blue 4, meanwhile, has spotted Red 4 X-Ray's Humvee that they stashed along this SSR just at the western edge of this forest that they're hiding fighting in. So both are aware of the other team's positions.
You got to remember, though,
varying degrees.
Op4 put all of their charges in this forested area, though. So is Op4 X-Ray going to let those two guys get in there just to det the charges, or are they going to try to take them out?
I'm not sure. That is a very good question. I guess if they have them marked, which I would assume they do.
If one side wins both the first two rounds, there won't be a third round. The third round's purely the tiebreaker.
With it being 4 different people, that could be 4 different triggers. So that might be a bit of a hurdle to get over as far as organization. But Warlords and Twig King actually getting into this forest without any opposition. I'm now not sure if Vonk actually did see them or not. He's definitely still watching SLG and Stark way off to the north, but I could have sworn he spotted the other guys.
I thought he did too, because he was looking in the direction. Those two guys were right under him. So I think Williams might be coming around to go deal with them or something.
Possibly.
It's hard to tell.
Maybe they just don't want to reveal their position so early, so early in the fight.
By the way, all the way to the south, a Blue 4 line of Scandi Recon has started engaging the Op 4 Humvee. That Humvee quickly turned in and is pulling back. You do have Anderson down here as well, trying to get some scouting data to see how many forces are right there, but I would be willing to bet that Op 4 is going to start fortifying that southern line. One more thing to notice back on X-Ray is we still have T5 Bay looking up in this forested direction. I think he has a good keyhole that lets him see about 30 meters ahead. No, now it's about 15 to 10 actually, but he is now quickly running up. He might get behind Twig and Warlords here.
I'm not sure why, but Anderson decided to open up on that Scandi Recon Charlie 2 line, got some bullets in the legs as a recompense, and is now rolling away to try and bandage himself up. But
he tried to get a quick kill and run, but
yes, which I don't think he did. No.
Scandi's really good at countering shit like that. Otherwise, time is going to continue to get eaten, but I'm going to be honest, it's going to take Blue 4 a good 20 minutes to sweep that town for those caches, just because of the sheer size of searching. So if Blue 4...
I'm so concerned, yeah.
Yeah, if Blue 4 continues to be slow down here, they're eventually going to have to make a move, and they're just giving Op 4 more time to scout them out fully and get more data here. So hopefully we'll see an action in a little bit, but for now... I'm really concerned for Warlords and Twig, because T5 Bay, he's been slowly coming up.
Waiting in the wings, hiding amongst the bushes.
It's worrisome.
I'd be worried too. Hair sticking up on the back of my neck, knowing that you're being watched. And I think... No, Bay does not... He's looking quite in the right direction.
Anderson has gotten in the Humvee, and that Humvee is now pulling back. So they're conceding that forested area for Blue 4 to get in there. But it's just a stalling game at this point. If the clock gets to the 45-minute mark and Blue 4 hasn't made any plans to move into that town, I think this is just going to be a time victory.
I think so, potentially as well. SLG and Stark did take a round from Red 4 X-Ray's marksman. I heard that SR-25 or Mark 11 ring out. Didn't seem to be a good hit. They've fallen back and are repositioning now. I wonder if that shot is going to bring Twig King and Warlords back up to the north. They've actually made it unscathed to the southeastern side. T5 Bay didn't spot them, and neither did Williams. So they might be attracted to that report and head more north now, which does look like is what is happening.
T5A's got a little bit of a few good sight lines here, but it's still pretty poor visibility down there. Now, real quick, because people in chat are asking, this will be a best out of 3, but if one side wins both rounds, there won't be a third round. So, when I say side in this case, I mean the 29th or the FNF coalition here. So,
yes.
Scandi is now smoking to try to pull back. They put some smoke rounds on that forest. Interesting that Severe is playing this so defensive, but he does have his northeastern flank remounted in Vix. I think you're going to see these guys pull around and try to attack in the way that X-Rays come in on.
Potentially. I could see that happening as they mount back up into trucks, just going, we've been here too long, we've been made multiple times over. Let's, double back and go from the other way, which isn't too bad of an idea, though that could obviously lead them right into the trap of those explosive satchels. Obviously, they have no
Hold up, Warlords and Twig King might be right in T5 Bay's sightlines here.
Ooh, yeah, this is
They're very close.
It's going to turn to CQB. T5 Bay is looking a bit more to the northeast.
I don't think you saw him.
Nah,
But he might hear them.
Yeah, going through those bushes and stuff. The rustle of the leaves.
I'm listening.
Warlords has spotted the Hescope areas way off to the west. So that's going to draw their attention a bit.
Interesting enough, T5 Bay went for a CCO site instead of a magnified site.
Yeah, I just noticed that as well. I have seen sometimes people grab two sites. They grab a CCO and then they grab an ACOG to kind of switch between, or some kind of magnified site. Because, Bay definitely had an SU-230 earlier. So I think T5 Bay has those two sites to give them some kind of flexibility. Even though the SU-230 has an MRDS on the top, so a bit redundant in my opinion, but hey, what can you do?
T5 Bay is scoping out where Williams was. I thought I saw a small glimpse of him. But how far is he? Yeah, no, he's way far up there.
Side. So, unless we have some PID issues. That'd be funny if we have some PID issues in this kind of hardcore.
And now you have Twig and Warlords crawling through the wheat field that's still here.
Yeah, what remains of it.
It's hilarious.
Stark and SLGM have pulled back into the forest way off to the north, so they're gonna try and break off completely. Maybe double back to their Vicks and proceed on with those wheels.
Yeah, I think they're looking over though to see that most of the wheat field over here has been knocked out as well, so they could, though, potentially crawl to the south and then get up on this riverbed. But we do need to see Blue 4 make some sort of move here, because the clock is running.
Agreed. Yeah, seeing them now, they're loading up a bit more into their trucks, so they should be moving out soon.
It's a full remount from the looks of things, yep.
So they could either go for a Thunder Run. I'm seeing Lusod is actually pointing back east, and that M2 Humvee. So they probably will double back to the starting position, or at least go back through
the fucking Twig and Warlords have decided to run through an open field into the AO.
Their backs. No one's going to spot them either. T5A is still looking into the forest. No one is looking out here to the east. Gates is over here. He's kind of got a tight angle, looking a bit more north to where Red 4 X-Ray's position is, so he's not going to be able to spot them. Sergeant Kai, Ergen.
I can't believe that worked.
Kai is just hanging back, probably looking at his map. Yeah, they're on the other side. They ran through no man's land like it's fucking 1917 and came out the other side unscathed.
Who's to bet, though, that Blue 4 is going to take that knowing they just ran through that open field unmolested and they're going to Thunder Run their Vicks up the same direction?
That's very possible, because they only took one shot from the Red 4 marksman team and they weren't ever able to spot them again. And Red 4's X-Ray wasn't able to spot the rest of Blue 4 X-Ray, so yeah, they could very easily make that call on, hey, this worked for us, maybe it'll work for you. Now, we do have Gates still looking around. They're hiding in this warehouse.
I can't believe that fucking worked.
Is that cracked? No, I think that's just how it is, completely closed. Yeah, you can crack open doors using ACE, so I would love to see
control space and scroll wheel.
Yep.
But Blue 4 is completely mounted up. That's crazy. But no, they're not taking that left. They're going somewhere else. A remaneuver this late in the game,
they could be going
very risky.
All the way back up to spawn at Schwemlitz. Schwemlitz, and then going west from there to Bruchwedel, coming down from there, and then coming down from the north, kind of where X-Ray came in, instead of going kind of cutting over, because that whole area to the northwest of Neumühle is completely unnavigated. They don't know what's there, so they're playing this completely safe, and it makes sense as far as what Sevilla's doing because they are already at an even standing as far as numbers, so that means that the attacking side is at a disadvantage. If this does keep up, though, like you said, they're going to either run out of time or just throw their lives away fruitlessly in an attempt to, fight against the clock. But if that is what's going to happen, then that definitely puts the advantage in the second round for 29th Infantry Division and, that side of this PvP matchup. So I'd be very interested to see how they use that advantage as far as the mentality that... momentum. The momentum is a big thing, especially in Counter-Strike, where so many rounds and rounds and rounds. There's a momentum. You can.
Hey, real quick. Twig has spotted Ergen through a small keyhole on the rooftop of the barn, or the frickin' third-story window, and then you've got Bekovich running right through the building. Blue Force and Warlord had a gun on him. Oh,
are you?
God.
What? It's like, what the fuck?
Fucking, we're playing some James Bond level bullshit here. Like, what Twig King turns around, was like, were we spotted? Huh? What happened?
Did you hear that? What was that noise?
I hope Bedovich watches his back and sees just how close he was getting his head blown off right there.
That was funny.
But I know these guys really like to watch the VODs back because there are plenty of these instances, both on Friday and these special events, where it gets that fucking close, and they never realize it. But it hopefully teaches them, hey, keep your head on a fucking swivel just because you haven't seen anything. He is going back.
To that same barn.
Just a run through.
That angle. And so, yeah, he's going to come right through, and like on a Sunday stroll.
Oh my god. Warlord spotted him come in again.
Him too. He was looking
through a keyhole. Yeah, they're like, all right, as long as he doesn't see up, man, it's a-okay.
Man, that's fucking ridiculous.
I mean, it's reminding Twig and Warlords, though, if they go guns up or something silly happens, they're gonna quickly get surrounded here. So this is them just kind of testing to see that, yeah, Op4 has a really big 360 going here. There are definitely people moving around in this town. It's going to be a tough fight. But hey, at least they are starting to find buildings to see where the cash isn't. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. I'm seeing Blue 4 dismount back at spawn. Point Man is planking on air on the front of one of the transport trucks, and now he's on the ground and getting back in. But yeah, so they actually stopped at Schwemlitz, and I guess we're waiting to regroup, but now they're moving back around, yeah, that X-ray ingress over towards Brookvadel and to the north of the objective.
So Williams right now is actually combing around in this forested area. I feel like I don't want to believe that Vonk and Rod did not spot those two guys moving through the open field right in front of them. Like, it's possible, but
right? Like, but I saw him
the way this has been.
I got no clue.
Send in Goat Team 6 now.
I'm confused to that as well, because the only thing I can think of that they didn't open fire on them immediately was that they'd give their position away, so that's why they...
Reno, thanks for the 10-month resub. I hope you keep enjoying the operations. I hope you get a kick out of this. Whew. Yeah, I think they're just going to go the route that X-Ray scouted off, but we do have Rod and Vonk looking in these directions. I'm going to go in Vonk's first person here. He just went out of the bino as soon as I could have potentially seen a Vic charge through, so it's... I haven't seen any tells just yet. Nah, the forest, it's just too thick. They don't have any good eyes on.
What's interesting is, yeah, they've actually pulled back a bit on the south side, Red 4, into Suttorf a bit more. The M2 Humvee is still down here, so I think maybe they're trying to maybe just keep all their bases covered. They haven't really taken any casualties, though. In fact, I don't know if they've taken any. Yeah, I'm seeing not a single skull on Red 4.
Yep.
So they're
Just
still at full
navies.
strength.
Yes, I don't think Vonk spotted that group coming in because he's still looking around, just hasn't spotted anything just yet, so...
Yeah, there's a bit too much foliage. There's a few keyholes that he could look through, but from his position... Oh, he actually might have just spotted command there as they passed through. He's looking off to his northeast.
No, I've checked at that angle. There's just too many trees in the way that block the actual road.
Yeah, I'm seeing Delta 2 now pass that same area, and there's just too much. So yeah, now they're coming all the way around over here with that Blue 4 X-ray group kind of as a splinter cell almost, just holding down, saying, we got a spot here. They just need to get to them. With the rest of the X-ray team on the western side of this SSR to the north, or I guess in between these two SSRs in the field, they know that this area is relatively clear up to them as well. So they have a bit more of a staging point than they did to the south. To,
you know what?
To their credit, but
I think there's actually a potential plan here. What if they had Warlords and Twig King find 1 or 2 guys to headshot just to make a little bit of noise to pull people towards them? That with the fact that OPFOR does have units to the southwest, which I think Blue 4 already knew about. That's why they pulled away, thinking that they fortified this route. That does give Blue 4 a pseudo number advantage to work with, at least in attacking this AO before OPFOR takes Delta and moves it back in the town to reinforce. So there is...
Walking through the barn as well. Nope, he passes it actually.
Amazing. There is a little bit of wiggle room here for Blue 4 to work with. They just have to know how to capitalize on it. And I am watching...
Dead spot Ergen.
I'm watching Dot here. He does have his rangefinder out. He is looking around, making sure Blue 4 doesn't do a rush right here. So... there's still a lot of room, but if Warlords and Twig can make a big enough bane here and take out a few OPFOR guys... I could see them... I could see a distraction working here properly.
Yeah. Yeah, that I think is about their only choice right now, as we're coming up on almost 50 minutes. Yeah, we're going to come up to probably, I think we're probably about 20 minutes left right now with the extended safe start. We're right about 20 minutes, so there's not a lot of time left at all.
Twig still has his gun trained on Ergen, though. Oh no, he turned around.
Whatever they're gonna do, they need to do it fast.
Yep.
And they're not gonna be doing it fast by dismounting north of the field. I think they're gonna be getting back in and yeah, doing that kind of thunder run because they ought to be watching their watching the clock right now.
They need to time that thunder run though and give Twig and the other guy at least 1 to 2 minutes to start engaging. I mean, an easy shot on Ergen, 1 bullet. Well, no, because you need the initial reaction and then OPFOR's reaction of, wait, what the hell's going on? There it is. Twig taking out Ergen.
Nice, good kill, clean.
And now you're going to hear...
Here's the thing, though. They're both using M4s.
Yep. So they're going to move up to Bendovich's position. They're going to be able to keyhole him from the side. Bedovich, though, he's pulling back because he heard that movement. So he wanted to make sure he didn't get keyholed from an opening of the barn. So now OPFOR, I'm waiting to see if there's going to be a reaction of forces being sent around. Yep, there's a thunder run, though. Gates and Kernshaw were sent around, but...
yeah, I think you're right. They kind of misplayed this.
There needed to be like another minute or so of just getting that reaction in play, but at least now with this going on, this does give Twig and Warlord some time to run around and try to figure things out here.
It's got sniped out. That truck is driverless now as it barrels into the fucking northern side of this town, but it's on a straight shot. It's gonna get in there. Hits a tree, still keeps moving. They need to hop out now as they're getting sprayed down. 5 of them get out. 5 of the 10 survive.
5 out of the 10. Hot damn. I mean, Blue 4 had to make a move.
Absolutely. No, this was their only real chance right here. And they're just getting shreked. I think that was 2 RPGs or laws that went out over to this western position, this northwestern side of Dormta. That's another rocket sailing over. 15-minute timer. And yeah, like we mentioned before, there's just so many angles, so many buildings to search.
Yeah, I'm seeing people literally running past each other. But I'm seeing some great PvP here.
Died.
Yeah.
Tricking's still alive, but his buddy's dead. They both got mowed down next to a garage.
Blue 4 re-maneuvering through an open field to go around. Not the smartest idea, but I also understand why they're doing it. This is how messy it's getting.
Problem now is
Voss picking the worst time to do medical. He can get a lot of free kills right here. And he's noticing.
Yeah, get that sprint.
So instead he's gonna throw grenades. 2 grenades going out. Nice.
Oh.
That's gonna do a lot of damage.
Nim goes down.
Nim, of course, goes down. And there's Voss now firing over, picking off Banks and Lurch as well.
Handwich looks back, doesn't know where the shots are coming from, and he gets some 5.56.
Quickly is running around though. Runs right in front of Vos. That makes Vos panic.
Yeah.
Quickly gets knocked out.
Andy doesn't know what the fuck is going on. Broad doesn't know what's going on. Smith doesn't know what's going on. Nuclear Moose gets to the behind the Mazcaz.
Oh.
Because it's the classic, hey, all these people are down. I should go medic them.
Voss spots Smith as he tries to poke through the bush. This is a perfect position for Voss. 3 kills, 4 additional downs. And he is just stopping Blue 4's momentum here. It's amazing what one well-placed guy can do in PvP.
No kidding.
So Voss is now trying to spot through the bush, but he can get some pickoffs. Gets Hudson. Gets Neil. If he looks left, he's going to see all these guys now trying to deal with this Mazcaz.
And again, same issue. Just rinse and repeat. Brooke goes down. That was either... Yeah,
This is an amazing play here. Ander getting shot in the back. He's down.
But no, Fiani...
Smith's woken back up, though. He's crawling through the smoke, still trying to figure out what's going on.
5 kills now for Boston.
5 kills. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're right. What a crazy Chad here. And now the smoke is hiding his position, but because of the, it's basically M4s, all 5.56, no one can tell what that weapon PID is. And this is just a perfect example why you always, when you have different weapon PID, you steal the opponent's gun, because this is the bullshit you can get away with. And, I mean, for me, Blue 4's done. Like, this crazy level of Mazcaz here, caused by one person in the perfect spot. And I think he's going to keep going. Put some more shots out.
Took down Robertson over to the east. And he's trying to get some picks, but should open it up, but...
Voss getting another.
Kind of too late. Voss is on 6 kills.
They're going to turn that into a CCP, but when that smoke runs out... Oh, gosh. No one's thought to check those gunshots. He's got another kill. 7 kills for Voss.
With another 5 still down for him.
Gets Flying Finn. 8 kills for Voss.
Jesus. This isn't even fair. He's just shooting fish in a barrel at this point. But I'm with you as far as Twig King. Him and his battle buddy, they need to make their presence a lot larger. Throw those...
Yeah.
Mag dump people. Don't get clean kills, but mag dump. And
Smoke's going to start dissipating. He's going to see more movement here.
Yep.
Just the amount of bodies caused by one person.
And Dryden's dead. Davies hits the ground. Severe Commander is down. Az is dead.
And finally, Pointman and Arma Jesus knocking Voss out. But holy fuck.
He was on 8 as when he died, and there's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5 people knocked out. That is incredible.
Dryden woke back up. Lucky fucking bastard.
We do have a medic on site, but this many people down, I think there's going to be at least 1 or 2 more KIA out of that. So Voss MVP for Op4 there.
Absolutely.
Pretty much stopping Blue 4's attack here. Now, we do still have a little bit of a Blue 4 force here. but the sheer amount of Op4 guys are going to have to fight through, and the fact that there is only 10 minutes remaining, it's going to be very, very difficult for Blue 4 to bounce back. Still possible, mind you.
Yeah, lightly. Yeah, I mean, technically still possible because they just have to go destroy the caches. That's it. But even that's a tall order. As some grenades, some were destroyed a little shed over by Vagrant and Buckets. They're not too far off.
Pointman is the only explosive specialist still up, though, out of the entire platoon. So out of 4, they only have 1 guy that can throw satchels right now.
Yeah, and right now he's getting focused down by Valenti on the roof of the tavern or apartment building, whatever you want to call this. Lusaw doesn't realize that Valenti's next to him, and he gets a half a mag to the side of the head. Poor Lusaw, he was doing so well too.
Op4, one of the biggest weaknesses that they have right now is their forces are so spread out that there's no battle buddy system in play. So when Op4 starts losing people, they don't know just how much they've lost in this case. So it's really hard for them to kind of get a fixture here on just where the enemy force is and where friendly forces are, because there's just so much intermingling right now between Op4 and Blue 4 forces.
Yep, speaking of which, Dot pushes in, gets a kill on Vagrant. So yeah, now this northeastern, northeastern push has been completely taken down. Indigo running through the town with his M2 Humvee.
Mino needs a double tap.
Halls and Cosmonaut over here on the south side. And yeah, Indigo is now trying to do what Twig King did, as far as just
rush in.
Away.
Little over 8 minutes remaining. But it is an absolute slaughter. I mean, just Severe, the ground command, looking at all of these dead Blue 4 guys, all caused by one well-placed character. In my opinion, Voss's spot was kind of meh, really exposed, but...
Make all the difference.
Yep. And now you got Cyrus on the other side also firing in. And just the sheer amount of bodies, man.
Voss took down most of, if not all of Scandi behind these 2 buildings here. Only 2 surviving are Nim and Az.
And they're bleeding out right now.
Yeah, Severe, I think, might have stabilized them, but there's not much he can do on his own. So 4IB coming on this this western side, coming around towards the south. Getting in a firefight with Germania, who goes down.
Germania goes dead, yep. 6.5 minutes.
Closer and closer. 6.5? Jeez. Nah, I'm really not seeing it with the amount of building.
I don't think even if Blue 4 had more time, I still wouldn't see it, because Op4 they're rallied around the actual cache sites. Blue 4 just lost way too many guys. I mean, there's no way to counter what Blue 4 ran into. It was, again, just, wrong place at the wrong time. And no one decided to check out what that gunfire was, because Blue 4 in that massive charge, it's really hard to, if not impossible, to coordinate infantry when everyone's doing a thunder run. So if someone is in a good spot to capitalize on that, they're going to be golden. So I would definitely, again, say Vonk is the MVP here. Brandy doing a great job pushing around, taking out Dreek. Takes fire from Anderson and Cyrus, but... Looking at Blue 4's forces here, we got Kane and Tom moving up, but Carlson, one of the best players in FNF, I'd say, close by, isn't aware of their presence, though. But just the sheer amount of forces on Garrison here, I don't see it.
Indigo has made his way to the eastern side of town, kind of looking for stuff on his own. He's just a crewman, but he could still...
Cyrus getting knocked out by Brandy.
Throw some grenades and probably take down one cache on his own. Spots Robertson, but he's able to get away, but not before getting a nice round to the head and turning his skull around. Shots going in retaliation to Indigo's position. So now we're in a firefight, and I don't think he is long for this world. As far as what Blue 4 actually did, I understand why they stopped and pulled back. I just feel like they took way too long to do it, to make a decision. They had the decision, and they went through with it, eventually. But I feel like instead of going through Suthorp, there's that bridge over by Nelson's position just south of Dormta. That is definitely a fatal funnel, but that would have been preferable given their position where they happen to be, trying to rush through that and get into this fork on the south side of the city, or this intersection rather, near Cyrus's position.
If it's stupid but it works, it ain't stupid.
In there, trying to do something around that side rather than taking all that time.
Hey, Barb.
The entire yeah, what's up?
Let me tell you about my man Wuna right here. Blue 4 right next to one of the cache sites. He just dismounted in front of 4 dudes. Got out, threw a smoke grenade, and crawled into the smoke grenade, and Op 4 just decided to look away as he did it. What a Chad Wuna is. Ninja. That's a good way to put it, yeah. Yeah, he just fucking pulled a fast one right there.
Ooh. Does some hand signals, smoke grenade pops up at his feet.
Oh, we got Indigo Fox, Wuna, Bay Potato running around trying to find this sector. Except Indigo Fox getting shot at by Sholin, but was able to get back in cover. Throws a frag grenade behind him for the Ninja Vanish. And Blue 4, I mean, on the other side here to this other cache. Blue 4, honestly, in striking position next to both caches here. So they got very close. It's just they're getting outnumbered at this point. Keen just won a one-on-one with a Op 4 man right here, but Op 4 has about a 3-to-1 ratio over Blue 4 right now.
Oh yeah, no, with 3 minutes and change left to go, I ain't seeing it, Chief.
Yeah.
We did see, yeah, Wuna did get out near the one of the caches, but obviously was not aware of its position. And even if you tried to go into this building, would have been caught out and died. And
he just got picked off
from across the way.
That was Private First Class Merzina. Yep.
Yeah, or Merzina, Mr. Zena, whatever. And
so stray by one of these caches, ground command for Op 4, still alive. Severe, though, is bleeding out by a tree. He is Blue 4's ground command, and I don't see it for Blue 4. 3 minutes remaining. Blue 4 would, like, they don't know where to look for these caches other than these massive black areas, so I can definitely see why it is defender focused. But I have a feeling that coalition forces between all FNF clans are going to be able to definitely hold a similar AO to this one. And should be A-okay here. Bay Potato getting tapped. Wuna waking back up, pops a smoke grenade and starts bandaging.
I will say, before this started, both sides were given the maps in advance to just look over them, check things out. So I don't know if they actually did any planning on them, but they did clear all of them and approved them. So I don't think there's any real surprises here as far as that.
Wuna throwing on the lag switch here. Will it be enough, though?
With Arma, we'll see. Usually it favors the shooter, not the shootee.
Less than 2 minutes remaining.
There it is. And
Wuna's dead.
For good measure, Wuna drops down about 5 seconds after getting shot.
Leonox firing across the street, getting Op 4 guy on the rooftop. I'm not sure if they spotted the cache from the window cell up there. But I'd imagine that 249, if it saw it, would start trying to mag dump it. But, oh gosh, no, it's not viable from that second story. What a shame.
No, not at all. Not at all.
And again, just seeing how close, even though Blue 4 got spanked, just how close they are to these cache sites is absolutely amazing. Sholin knocking out Mito.
Mito actually getting a kill on, I think it was Choser or something.
Oh, it wasn't Mito, it was Wuna, never mind.
I think it was
might have been Indigo Fox, I don't know.
Who knows, we're bad at this.
Very bad at this. Dreams, though, he's watching Op 4 X-Ray mount up in a the enemy on the fucking Blue 4 Humvee there.
In Mito's position, sees the dead body on the ground. He's going, wait, what's going on? What's going on in here?
But he doesn't look, and Mito laughs at him.
But he didn't check his right. Yep. That's
Mito on 4 kills. 3 of them happen to be in this room. 25 seconds remaining.
Mito does have the opportunity to get in.
Mito's the last guy in the AO. And Halls here is going to wrap this all up, and there goes Mito. Rest in peace. FNF Coalition has lost round 1, 29th ID, winning on a honestly defensive bias operation, but there will be a side switch, and we'll see how this all goes down in round 2. So, if the 29th wins round 2, which is unlikely, but hey, you never know, there will be no third round. 29th ID will be declared the winners of this Saturday Night Scuffle. But if they lose and the FNF Coalition is able to hold, we will go into a tiebreak for round 3, which will be a neutral fight. So, there is the victory there. I would again say Vonk definitely was the MVP there with that. It was Voss, my bad. Just absolutely annihilating Blue 4 on that angle.